Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSIDFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Mega Ruler 31. It's the All-Star race. First thing I'm going to say is play light. I did well in the truck race yesterday, but still, it can be it's gonna be kind of risky. At least this isn't like a goofy format like they've had before, where they race a little bit, then reverse the field, and like do all kinds of antics to try to make it really exciting at the end. It's actually pretty much a race, kind of like the Clash. They can have like a break. I don't think they have a halftime show for this. Maybe they do. Who knows? Um, but it's at North Wilkesboro track. If you've been watching this weekend, it's a track they haven't raced at since 1996. They did redo the stadium, but they did not redo the track. I held up pretty well during the truck race. They had like a modified race or something during the week, and it was like Atlanta race, and I think it was the spring or fall of 21 before they repaved it, where they had to keep on going on doing road work to patch potholes. So hopefully it holds up. Uh, so with the format, we have 21 cars that qualified through heat races yesterday. And then they're going to add 3 more cars to the field based on an open race tonight. And we've seen this happen quite a few times with the Clash, with all-star races in the past, with the dirt race. So the open race is almost a glorified Xfinity race if you look at the field. We'll get to that a little bit. So 2 of them will go in, and then the fan favorite vote will go in there also. So it's going to be 200 laps. There's going to be 100 lap, like a break at 100 lap. They can only, I think they get 3 pairs of sticker tires, and they only put 1 on after the break or something like that. Overtime rules are normal. Every lap counts. So it's not like the dirt race where they'd red flag it and don't count those laps. So it's kind of be like a normal point race. And the truck race was pretty good. And we had 5 Cup drivers out there for the race. We had Larson, who ended up winning it. We had Bubba. We had Bell was out there, Byron, and Chastain. So let's start by looking at the guys in red. The guys in red are the ones that have to go in the play-in race. So you have Chandler Smith, Xfinity driver, Josh Berry, who's been up here filling in for the Perez Xfinity driver, Eric Almirola, who's been a veteran, Malcolm McDowell, who's an up and Cup, Harrison Burton, who should have never left Xfinity, Ryan Newman, who's pretty much in an Xfinity Series car, coming back out of retirement for a couple of races, filling in until they figure out what they're going to do with the 51 car. Ty Gibbs, who just came up from Xfinity last year. Ryan Preece is just got his ride back after racing on trucks in Xfinity last year. AJ Allmendinger, who's pretty much an Xfinity driver last year. Todd Gillian, 2 years out of trucks, but still not really super established up in NASCAR. Justin Haley, who just came up out of Xfinity a couple of years ago. Ty Dillon, who has lost a bunch of different rides and finally made it up the Cup, but might be better suited for Xfinity. Corey LaJoy, who is always the underdog in Cup and probably would do quite well if he was in Xfinity. Noah Grayson, who just came up from Xfinity. JJ Yaley and Josh Bilicki, who race in Cup but also fill in Xfinity from time to time. So one thing I don't think anybody's really talking about is that DK did not change the scoring system, to my knowledge, for this race. So it's still based on their 40 car system that they have there. So that means that the last person in who gets the fan vote and starts dead last here is going to have a floor of at least 18 DK points. If they finish the race dead last, then they can't be 18th or 24th place gives you 18 DK points. So, I mean, that's pretty decent. That's almost like 3, almost 4X or some of these drivers, depending on who it would be. So, I kind of like ranked them here, and I think in cash, you're probably just going to want to jam those 3 drivers in. They're all reasonably priced because they have the greatest floor. I mean, there's really not a better floor than the guys that are going to start this race 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, because they start with 18, 19, and I think it's like 20 or 21 DK points. There's a breaking point someplace where they end up getting more at like 3 and 5 intervals. I can't remember where it is, but actually I have it right here. So 24th place, 18th, 19th, and 20. So I mean that's a very great, that's a really good floor there. And if they advance at all and get any place differential, then I mean that's just even more. So I think in cash, but a lot of people are going to do this, and you're going to have a lot of duplicated lineups because you only have 24 cars racing. You don't have the normal 36, 37, 38. How many, cup it varies from week to week. So, that's where you really run the risk in having a lot of duplicate lineups. So you want to play light here. You want to be kind of like different. This track is hard to pass. They said like if you get down on the apron, you really have to use the bumper to move people out of the way. And there's some people that are not afraid to do that. Tire wear is going to be a huge thing. There's going to be fall off. We did see some people lose it with the tire wear in the truck series and spin out. We saw people getting impatient and spinning other people out. So, a lot can factor in here, but I think, track position is good. But we also saw in the truck race, Zane Smith and Stuart Friesen start towards the back, but just through like strategy through the race, be able to make it up to the front and actually get into like the top 5. So it is possible, but you're not really going to just like blow through the field. But if you have a different tire strategy or figure something out like that, then potentially you can probably blow through the field pretty quickly if you got better, fresher tires than other people. So we'll see if like people try to stay out longer, but they do have the rule that you're going to use the one sticker after the half. So I don't know how they're going to do it. But somebody might figure out something and it might work really well for this. But hopefully it's a good race. So anyways, looking at the guys in the red again. If Chandler Smith makes it in, I think he is a really good play at 6,700. He was 9th in practice. He was 13th on tire wear tracks overall and ranks 8th out of all these Cup drivers, even though he doesn't have Cup experience. This Collie car is really good, and I think I definitely would like him. Josh Berry, same thing. He decent at tire wear tracks, 16th overall compared to everybody here. He was 27th in practice, but probably could look past that. I think he's got some potential to move up a little bit, especially in his equipment, but he's probably he is the most expensive guy here. Eric Almirola wouldn't surprise me if he makes his way in. I really like it here because he had top 10. The ones in the blue in the start column are top 10 in long run speed in practice, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to sustain it if it's like a really, really long run. So we'll see, but Almirola should be decent. McDowell's decent at these types of tracks, 18th overall, 18th in practice. So, I like him. Burton and Newman, if they make it in, I'd probably play him in cash, but I don't expect too much. Ty Gibbs, I think that he has shown a lot of promise recently, so I think he can work his way up. If Priest makes it in, I think, he is like probably my favorite play to be able to get up there. 10th in practice overall, 25th overall in tire wear tracks, but we've seen him lead at like Homestead and places like that. So I think he definitely can maybe get some place differential. So I kind of hope that he's one of the ones that makes it in. Almendinger, decent also. So I think you play him in cash. Gillian, GPP, I think he's just going to ride around and hope not to finish last. Haley, same thing. Ty Dillon, same thing. Corey LaJoy could make it interesting, but I just don't know because I think his equipment's as good. Noah Grayson could get a little bit aggressive and move some people out of the way. It'd be interesting, but I think GPP, but I did look really good in practice. So I do like that, but tire wear tracks overall hasn't been great. And Yaley and Blicky, I don't expect much of them or even to finish the race. I think it would be darn near close to a miracle if they actually race their way in. So looking at it, I would think it would probably be, let me pick my top 4 that I think could potentially make it in. So I would probably think it would be Priest. Ooh, that's an ugly combination there. Maybe I'll just do it in gray. Okay, so Priest, Smith, I think can race his way in. It's good. Barry, I think, can race his way in, and probably Gibbs could probably race his way in. So We'll have to see what happens before that, but definitely think those are my top four. For most popular driver, if I think Gibbs potentially, even though he's been a villain, could make it in, but I think maybe Gregson or Allmendinger might get it. I don't think it's not gonna be Yaley, Balicki, Dylan, maybe LaJoy. But I think, if we're looking at like favorite driver, I think you got to put Grayson and Allmendinger in that category. Newman, maybe, but it's not gonna be Burton. McDowell, dark horse there. Almirola, maybe. So I'll give those two. So I think in reality, here's your group: 2, 4, 6. These 8 are probably the ones that are gonna make it in the final 3. And if I have to make a prediction here, I think it's going to be Smith, Gibbs, and Priest. That's who I'm going with. So we'll see how I do at the end of all this. Smith, Gibbs, and Priest. But again, it doesn't really matter who it is. You probably in cash want to play these ones. In GPP, if it's one of the cash guys that have some upside to advance a little bit, then play them. But if you want to fade one of the chalk guys in the back, if something weird like Ty Dillon gets in, or Haley or Gillian, and somebody that you don't think is going to really progress that far and they have a great floor but no upside, then fade them. You'll get some leverage on the field and you'll have another driver that probably has lower ownership than other people, and that will help with GPP. So right now, I'm going to hide these guys and we're going to look at the drivers that qualified here. So it was weird in qualifying. They did heat races and it rained on and off, and they had slick tires on, they had regular tires on, and it really kind of shuffled up the field. So I don't think this is an accurate portrayal of anything. Practice was under really good conditions, so I think we can go by that a little bit. So I have the practice data there. I have it with the differential of like where they are starting. I do have their tire wear, average finish, and based on tracks, I took, if they race that far back, Atlanta before they paved it for a couple races. Homestead is the one, Darlington is one, and then I looked at short tracks like Martinville and Richmond that correspond to the style of racing, the package of racing, and the size of the track, and then put it all in the magical formula and it spit out, and then I like put what their ranking is next to it to help kind of clarify, because some of them tied, but then I went to practice speed as the tiebreaker here. So Daniel Suarez has the pole. I think he's definitely a cash play. I think will be very popular. He did have good long run speed, and if he can get out there in clean air and hold Buescher out, I think that he's definitely somebody you can consider. I think I like Buescher a little bit better. I've seen him do really well, and if he can get out in front of Suarez, then I really like him. 4th in practice, has a better ranking overall in tire wear tracks, and had really good long run speed. So Logano, he just doesn't do good in clean air. Like 12th in practice here, 6th overall in tire wear tracks. So it all depends. If you can be aggressive enough to get up there, he's fine. But at 9,700, you're really, again, salary might not, is kind of soft, so it might not really matter here, especially some of the cheaper guys are going to be you're going to have 3 cheaper guys in your lineup if you're taking the ones that got into the race. And like if like 8,400 Barry's not there, if it's like cheaper guys, that's even better. But Logano, I think it's a GPP player, because if he swings and misses here and he falls back, then you're losing some place differential, and you can't really afford that here. Austin Dillon, GPP, I mean, it'd be phenomenal if the number 3 ended up in winner's circle here. I'd love that, not because I'm a Dawson Dillon fan, but just for the car overall nostalgic purpose of it. But, Dillon, I think it just has not had a strong season. 19th in practice, 13th overall in tire wear tracks. So, or ranking on that. I don't know why it says National 22. I'm sorry about that. Just ignore that. So probably GPP there. Chase Briscoe, he's really good at these tracks and like shifting track. I think the hand's getting a little bit better here, but 5th in practice. So I think you consider him GPP. Byron just has had great form recently, did well in the truck race. 7th in practice, 2nd overall on the tire wear tracks and all the comparison tracks. So just firmly in play here also, and potentially could pass all the ones in front of him and get out there and lead. Might take him a little bit of time to do so, but I think that he has potential to be a dominator in this race. Bell, GPP, 14th in practice, but he's looked really good at these, had good long run speed also. So he's got the blue. Did okay in the truck race, but wasn't as good as like Byron and Larson. So, but I think I'll have him in consideration. Keselowski, 2nd fastest in practice, 12th rank here, but he does well on tire wear tracks. He's only 7,100. So I think, you know, if he works in your cash lineup, he works there too. I really like Demi Hamlin if I can get him in here. 3rd overall in practice, number 1 overall on these tire wear tracks. And I think that he's definitely one that, you know, probably try to get in with the prime plays. And I might be a little bit different here because I think people are just going to, again, just like kind of stack the bottom like it's a plate one. But I really want to try to think this out and try to figure out who can win the race and maybe get a little bit of place differential with some dominator points. Bubba Wallace, I think, makes a great GPP here. He did really well in the truck race and really held off Larson for a couple of laps with really old tires and was able to have a solid race. And then late caution didn't kind of work out for him. But I think that, you know, he seems to, I think that practice in the truck race was invaluable to him. And I think that he should have a solid day here. Blaney, Blaney's really good with fall off usually with the tire wear track, 7th overall. Didn't look good in practice, but you know, he's not gonna have short run speed, but he's one that could potentially get up into the top 5 and have some long run speed. I don't know if he's going to get up there and dominate and lead the race, but I think he's got some definite place differential. So GPP, but borderline cash for me. Truex, 6th in practice, 9th overall, 13th overall. You know, finish usually on tracks like this. I think he's firmly in play. Elliott, they're really tempting us with the price at 8,300. I think he's a cash play also. Again, not great in practice, didn't have great long run speed, but I think he's someone to consider. Kyle Busch is always a GPP. He should always really set up really well for this type of track, but ever since and he ran really well in the Clash, and it's kind of the same format, just a little bit of a bigger track. So hopefully, you know, and Truex ended up winning that one. It's just to remind people. But you know, I think that he can be aggressive. Maybe they'll try a different pit strategy or something. So he's going to be a very interesting play here, but he's always a GPP. Harvick, I think, is a cash play here. He's starting like pretty far back, had great long run speed. He's in the 29. So if you're looking for the 4 out there and you don't see it, don't think that Kevin Harvick didn't qualify. He's going old school and running the car that he first came out with when Dale Earnhardt died. They didn't want to bring the 3 back. They had a moratorium on it. So, you know, he ran the 29 in an early career, and he's going to be rocking that car, which is kind of awesome for NASCAR. I let him do that for this race. 8th overall in practice, 3rd overall in tire fall off tracks. So, and that's recent. That was looking through like his whole career, because of course, you know, anybody's had, I've always, TK and I, when we used to do videos together, I always talked about if somebody's raced 100 times someplace, they're going to have some good stats. But yeah, that was just in recent form. So really like him here. Really like Kyle Larson. I think I got to lock him as a prime play. Won the truck race, number 1 in practice. The rain tires, the wet tires kind of slowed him down for this, but there's got some place differential. 5th overall, and really close to being tied for 1st for tire wear tracks. So definitely going to probably lock him into my lineup. Cindric's a GPP. It's just not having a great season. I don't really see him doing much here. He might finish dead last. Chastain is GPP. I think he's going to be very popular in cash games, but I just think, and he says he's learned his lesson, but until I see it, I can't play him in cash. So I'm probably going to pass on him. I'm going to be very underweight on the field. The field's going to be so overweight on me. And if he has a disaster, it's going to push me so far ahead. But if he doesn't, then okay, I'm played light. I moved on to the next week. Stenhouse, same thing. He won Daytona. That's the only reason he's in this race. He'd probably be in the play-in race, and I don't know if he'd actually get into this. You know, miracles can happen, but 30th in practice, 28th overall on tire wear tracks. Don't expect much for him. Might finish second to last. It'll be like Cindric, and then him unless some scrub ends up getting in from the play-in race or voted in for some strange reason. Reddick, I think, is going to be a very popular play also in cash. Fifth, 15th in practice, 20th overall. There's definitely, if he can make the high groove work here, whereabouts if they're trying to run the apron, if he can pass on the outside, it's definitely going to open up a lot for him here. I really like that. And Eric Jones, I think it's a GPP. I know he's got probably the best like place differential and best floor here at 5,900, but didn't look great in practice. And I think, some of the guys in the play-in ones could surpass him and have much better days. So again, the playing guys, you could probably let those three in, then Larson, then I like Busher or Suarez if you want your early dominator or somebody that might stay out there and dominate the whole race. I'm fine with that. But then from there, I like Byron, Hamlin, probably one of my favorite plays, and then Harvick and Reddick. So that's the ones that I'm looking at for this race. Again, I wouldn't play a ton, but get creative, get different, don't take, and I'm sure there's going to be lineups, and it's probably mathematically going to work if you just go 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, and 19, boom, submit. Maybe that becomes the optimal, but I don't think so. You want to take some chances, and like some of the chances I'm taking is not playing Chastain, where I think, people are going to take the bottom three and then take Larson, Chastain, and like Reddick and see how that flies. And I just want to differentiate that, especially if it is where we find out that they can't really pass. And I just like the ones that are good at tire wear, that had good practice speeds, because this qualification got so jumbled up with the different types of tires. And overall, I just hope it's a good race and not an absolute disaster. Claiming the Clash started out as a good race, but then it was like spinning yellow, spinning yellow, spinning yellow, which, is funny because they had Wiz Khalifa out there. His song Black and Yellow right before that. And, Twitter was lighting up with the spinning yellows after that. So, but yeah, hopefully this is a good race, that it's good. It's competitive. They don't have a bunch of nonsense going on. Chastain doesn't take out half the good drivers in the race. And hopefully the surface holds up and that everything's good. So that's what I got for you. Again, we probably won't know until about like 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight, who's going to be in the final field. If I have any new thoughts, then I think the race starts at like 8 something. I'll try to post by 7:30 if I have any updates for that. Just remember, we can't approve full lines for you, so please don't ask me if these 6 guys are good. If I can approve like 1B1s, like I'm, do you like these 2 guys or these 2 guys, or this is my last guy in. So just a reminder that we don't want to violate any DK policies and get kicked off the platform. So appreciate you watching. And again, leave comments in the chat below. Hit me up at Murgo31 on Twitter. And if these videos help you, as always, help us back. Please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends so we can continue to grow this help out there for all you who are playing NASCAR DFS. So if you want more information on FSIDFS, you can always go into the description of the video and sign up for the package at our website. And it's $5 a week. It's like $10 or $15 for a whole month. It's really, really, really inexpensive. And, when it's a physical week. So, if there's a race on like a Saturday, you can sign up for it and get Saturday, Sunday, and to probably wrap around for next Friday and Saturday, depending on when it is. So, but anyways, thanks for watching again. Good luck in your contest. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope the race is good and you enjoy it. And I'll see you next week for the next races. Coca-Cola 600 as we head out to Charlotte. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.